Coming up on this episode of Outlook TV, and Black History Month fundraiser at the Fountainhead for the Queer Scholarships.
T gets his rubies shined at the Rhinestone Phoenix Hearts Pageant.
San Diego Court Coronation 53 with Fancy, and much, much more.
Hello and welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Emily Ann Fraser.
And my name is Darren Minette. We'd like to acknowledge and thank the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations for the privilege of filming on their traditional unceded lands.
Outlook TV is the queer magazine news show that brings you the stories that matter the most from coast to coast. And kicking us off, Angus takes us to the Sum Gallery, where there's an exhibition called Mirrors.
Right, two artists, Dion Smith-Dockey and Michael Morris.
We're at the Sum Gallery in the Sunwa Center in Vancouver for the very first exhibition of 2025, Mirrors. We're going behind the scenes to see what it's all about.
I am the artistic director of Sum Gallery and Queer Arts Festival. The gallery is a year-round presence for 2S LGBTQIA plus art and artists. This is a duo exhibition featuring the works of Michael Morris and Dion Smith-Dockey and is curated by Rodney Sharman. It all centers around the idea of male nudes. They begin with Michael Morris's watercolors that he did in Berlin during a residency in the 1980s at the height of the AIDS crisis. And these are counterbalanced by new commissions by Dion Smith-Dockey.
Michael Morris is very well known for his abstract work, especially works that are, well, really just wonderful stripes, very, very big paintings, sometimes incorporating other media besides paint. But these are a series of beautiful, touching nudes that he did in watercolor, some in ink, in the early 80s and mid-80s during the height of the AIDS crisis in Berlin. These are fellow painters. In fact, there are images here of Attila Lukács. 3 of the images are of him, particularly that one which references AIDS, which is of the candle. That is Attila Lukács's body holding the candle. Those are his hands. Dion Smith-Dockey is a wonderful visual artist, and he also is an abstract artist. That's what he's really known for, large-scale paintings that include a certain amount of different elements like rhinestones. But these two are these incredibly intimate, realistic, figurative paintings, which are all self-portraits.
So I'm a painter by trade. I've been kind of experimenting with different mediums the last few years, so this show is a nice return to that medium. To make the works, I went through my archive of images that I've sent to hookups and lovers in the past. I then curated a suite of images that I thought responded well to Michael Morris's works. And then I got to painting. And so for the paintings, I've done them all multiple times in different versions, just because they're all wet on wet oil paintings that are done in one session. And so there's a lot of mistakes that can happen, but a lot of surprises as well. Over the past number of months, I've been working through these images, painting and repainting them to find the right balance. The first main thing is that I live up north and I don't have any models that I can work with. Secondly, I was curious about thinking through where the relationship between the model and the artist and how Michael's work is based in a separation versus I wanted my work to, combine the artist and the model into one kind of figure.
Together, the exhibition is a real overview of the concerns of queer gay men, say from 40 years ago up until present day, and how the queer community has been living with AIDS, with sex and queerness, and how that has changed over the last 40 years.
The exhibition runs February 6th to April 4th, and we'd love to see you here.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Prott at the Sum Gallery in Vancouver.
So next we're going to talk with T, as he lets us know a little bit more about the Phoenix Rhinestone Hearts Pageant.
Love is in the air, and the Rhinestone Phoenix Charity Foundation is celebrating it with the Hearts Pageant. Today, we will find out who the candidates are for Ruler, King, and Queen of Hearts, and who will be the winners. Let's check out the show.
So the Hearts Pageant is a fun little title for the bar. It's basically just to help bring the community together and just really, it's just showcase the talents of Vancouver. Actually, it was not difficult to get contestants at all. We actually had a lot of contestants just come up to my DMs and was like, I'm very interested. So we didn't have a hard time at all. Competing for the Ruler of Hearts is Wandering Pixie, Phoenix Hellfire, and Miss Heart. So we're very excited to have them compete for the 2025 Ruler of Hearts category. I have a little bit of help with my Miss Gay Vancouver Mimi Amormi with some of the more important speeches. You will be we'll be announcing the DMS candidates as well tonight. Also doing my step down performance in the very beginning of the show, so I'm very excited to show you what I have in store. We have for our performers is Imelda May Santos, Justin A Bit, Jesse Creations, Effervesca, and Peter Packer. Because they were either past Hearts contestants and winners, or they have been supportive of the Rhinestone Phoenix Charity Foundation of some way or another.
A really exciting year. We've been working really hard to get some good fundraisers out there. We did our poinsettia drive over Christmas, so we were able to spread some Christmas cheer to 20 community members who can no longer come out to shows and participate, at least as much as they'd like to. The charities this year are Community, Ribbon Society, and Urban Native Youth Association. The candidates this year for King of Hearts are J.K. Vincent Rice and Tan Parrish.
I'm mainly looking for and judging on like their appearance, but also like that they're doing something different. Because I've seen a lot of these performers like perform throughout the city for the last little while, and I just want them to up their game, if that makes sense. Contestants for Miss Gay are Mona Moore, Queen Cece, and Virginia Slim. Good. It's been a lot of fun. Met a lot of new and interesting people, and I've made a lot of new friends. Raised some decent amount of money already, and I'm going to Seattle this weekend, so I'm really excited for that.
Truly amazing. Thank you so much to all of our performers and
Congratulations to all the winners. From Junction in Vancouver, my name is T for Outlook TV.
Well, don't go anywhere because we are, but you should come back. Rhinestone Phoenix, are you the queen of this this event?
I wish. My Rhinestone days are well over.
Hello and welcome back to Outlook TV. Do you enjoy your leather? Well, these leather makers have been making your leather since 1987.
Andre checks in with Northbound Leather in Toronto.
Hello everyone, salut tout le monde. Toronto's Northbound Leather has been a staple in the leather and fetish fashion scene for decades, with deep roots in the LGBTQ+ community. Join me as we dive into its history, creativity, and impact.
Had a leather store on Yonge Street, at the time in what was ground zero of the gay neighborhood at Yonge and St. Joseph. And so we created Northbound Leather. We would go and do fashion shows in the bars and write orders and then bring them back. So we've always been hand in glove with the leather community.
But in reality, Northbound is a niche market. It's its own niche market. It has its own clientele because of the nature of what it is. It's not high fashion that we're doing, although our stuff could be considered that. It has to have some longevity to it. So there has to be a certain element of classicism to it that you could get away with wearing it any time. People want to wear this for a long time. They're making an investment in this, and I would think they want to have it as long as they can and for it to be valid for as long as it can.
Mr. Toronto Leatherman contests began. They started with bar contests, and then it became where all the bar title holders came together. We sponsored contestants. Initially, the belt is what I made the belt for them, and I would put the plaque on it every year with the winner. We would donate to whatever the community needed, because I have a 10% rule, basically. The community, the hand that feeds me, I have to give back to.
The work is all done by hand. Everything at Northbound Leather is hand done. So after it's cut by our cutter, it's taken over to the sewing room, and one of the sewers will sew it up. And when that's complete and the findings are put on it, any snaps or buttons it needs, it's tried on a staff member. And then if it needs corrections, that's done. And then when we have approved it and we're happy with the fit, I grade it.
And I also remember proudly marching with my kids, actually, in right behind the Grand Marshal, behind Mandy Goodhandy and Todd Klink. They were the parade marshals one year. And of course, the big shows that we produced down at Polson Pier at the docks, where we would get 3,000, almost 3,000 people attending every year in October.
All the shows that I did and all the scenes that I came up with to clothe were really part of my fantasies. And I hired other people to enact my fantasies on a runway in front of an audience. Expose, the concept for that show, I was going to call it Gorgeously Grotesque. But what I was trying to do is expose the fashion industry for what it really does. And it's obviously the job is to sell something to people that they don't really actually need. The job of marketers is to make people believe they do need those things.
We introduce people to the leather that's going to look really good on them. Whether they expect it or not, we will show them what is going to be perfect for their body, for their lifestyle, for any of the needs that they want to use a piece for. I want everybody to experience it.
Thank you very much for being with us. This is Andre Tardif at Northbound Leather in Toronto for Outlook TV.
These noble deeds are not done for cheap.
So T talks to Ben Fink about his very artistic photography.
With the Imperial Court members. Check it out.
Ben Fink is a world-renowned photographer, and he brings us immense talent to document some of the oldest queer nonprofits in the world. We're catching up with Ben Fink and his new book, Noble Deeds.
The way this project came about was a friend of mine, Roxy Blue, or Wayne Dietz, his boy name, told me about this organization that he was a part of, and he was, he would do drag and do this philanthropic work, and he invited me. He thought I would be interesting for me as an artist. So I went down to San Diego. I live in LA, and went down to San Diego and where he invited me to the Coronation, and I went there 7 years ago and just attended, and it was crazy. Like I just sat there in amazement for hours. I didn't take one picture until the very end, when they were crowning the emperor and empress. And that image was the first image in this book. I went back to his place that evening, worked on it overnight, and in the morning I showed it to everybody, and I said, oh my God, I think this looks like a book project. And there started Noble Deeds. Actually shooting the images, going back to my studio and taking them out of the background and creating these fantasy backgrounds that went behind each individual. Using photography, the real people, with these backgrounds that sort of illustrate what I took away from each person who was in front of my camera. And listening to their stories or looking at their costumes or their gestures helped me sort of intuit who they were. And as I got to know people, I really got to learn who they were. And I was able to create these stories through visual storytelling. And then eventually I started illustrating like complete backgrounds. So many of these pieces are completely illustrated by my hand. So I would like look through all these images that I took at coronations and just like go, oh, what does this evoke for me? What does this person's gown say to me? What does their hand gesture say to me? And then I would like just let my imagination go. And I would just put, a lot of times I would build 10 backgrounds behind people. And then like maybe even that image is made up of 8 or 10 different parts of my artwork. Yeah, I have a publicist, and she had worked with the Stonewall Museum. She's like, you really need to have an exhibit here and launch the book here in January. And I was like, perfect. There's a coronation right here in Fort Lauderdale.
Make sure to get your copy before it's too late. My name is T for Outlook TV.
Come on back. We're going to take a break now.
Thank goodness. I could really use one after all these sexy stories. I need a minute.
She's verklempt. She's plotzing. She's spritzing.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV. Fancy takes us all the way over to the San Diego court for Coronation 53.
For 53 years, the Imperial Court de San Diego has been doing noble deeds for their community. And this year, more than ever, we are finding out the next two individuals that will continue this legacy onwards to the 54th year.
I've been involved in the court since the early 70s, and I decided now is my time, so it's my turn. You know, you have to love the community and what you do, and then fundraising and helping them comes easy.
Can you tell us what we can look forward to for your step-down songs?
It's to the Emperor because he served beside me for a year, and the second one is to all of my court and all of the other courts that we worked with, and hoping that other people will step up and become emperor and empress of their courts. And the last one is to the whole world saying, I'm still here.
It is a monarchy in the classic sense where you need to have a royal family representing the interests of the organization or the interests of what you represent. And we are an organization that represents creating a social environment for the LGBTQ plus community. So the need for organizations like us to continue to create a space where everyone's welcome, where everyone is valued for their authenticity, where tolerance and expression are freely given, that's the space that we want to create. So the year started out great because it's an election year, and of course there's always that positivity that comes with working for a cause, right? So things didn't quite go this way, but does that mean you stop? No, you keep going because you want to keep going for the better way, right? So this is now our opportunity to really step up and try and create that space that we always say that we create in a time where it's tough to create that.
Running for Emperor is to actually get all the communities together, how they used to be back in the days, where it was not just one community against one other. It was everybody all together as one, where it was united, where if you needed help from one, everybody else came in and supported. That's the reasons why I'm running for being a candidate for the Emperor part. I'm running so I can be a bigger asset to our community and see where it's going to take our community as a whole. I enjoy fundraising and giving of myself. I say to myself and to other people, all I have are my hands to contribute, and as a volunteer is how I began in this court system.
Emperor and Empress of the Imperial Court of San Diego, Emperor Bellator Biden, and Empress Alexis Gabrielle.
Congratulations, Your Majesties, and welcome to the monarchy. From San Diego, my name is Empress Sister Fancy Pants for Outlook TV.
And for our next story, Angus takes us over to the Fountainhead, where there is a Black History Month fundraiser taking place.
Right, and it's specifically for scholarships in the queer community.
It's Black History Month, and we're at the Fountainhead Pub in Vancouver for a special fundraising show, Melanin Magic. We're going to meet some of the performers, talk to the organizers, and find out what they've got planned for 2025.
So Black History Month is right away, it's meant to celebrate the contributions that many people of color, in particular Black people, have created and given to the world at large. But it originally started out, I believe, as a week back in the day, and then eventually it slowly evolved into a month to really celebrate and get all of those days of recognition and recognizing all of those people that have done amazing things. The term melanin, it's actually a scientific term. It actually refers to the amount of pigment you have in your skin. Some people have a lot, like myself. Some people have a little bit, and that's totally fine. But we really wanted to highlight the different types of melanin that we have here in the city. And since it's a Black History Month show, we really wanted to feature as many melanated performers in whatever capacity that is.
You're gonna love me.
There's quite a bit to highlight for me. The fact that we can come together as one and celebrate and uplift each other and just recognizing and at the same time educating people on the history and the struggle that we have gone through. One of the first drag queen was an African lady, gentleman that they drag on the plantation to entertain the slaves. So the mix has always been there. You know, there's a tie between the LGBTQ community and Black history.
So a little bit about the scholarship. We have, Scotty and I created it, so he was my counterpart when we were running for Monarchs of Vancouver. And we created the Box Bar Bursary, so it's both of our last names. And we really wanted to leave sort of a legacy experience for people. And we thought, oh, what's a great way to do that? A bursary. So anyone who is, pursuing higher education will get a chance to get their hands on this bursary depending on what they're looking for. Allyship is something that is necessary for anyone of any experience. Specifically with Black History Month, I always tell people you can help by sharing people's creativity. So if that's sharing someone's Instagram post, you can share. If there's a show like this, but you can't make it, buy someone a ticket, share it on your social media. And also you can donate to many of these causes all throughout the year. You don't need a month or a day or a week, whatever it is, to highlight these communities. You can do it all the time, anytime you have an opportunity to.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Pratt at the Melanin Magic Show at the Fountainhead Pub in Vancouver.
Oh, would you look at the time, Darren? That's all the time we have left for this episode of Outlook TV. But as always, we will be back.
Yes, and check us out on all social media. And if you'd like, come and volunteer with us.
Thank you so much for joining. I'm Emily Ann Fraser.
And I'm Darren Manette.
Stay Canadian, Canada.